Many people are struggling with focus. They're distracted. We live in the attention economy where people are struggling even to concentrate for 30 minutes. What do you think is causing that?
I mean, the answer is pretty simple. It's your phone. Like everyone has an iPhone nowadays. So you could easily go on your phone and entertain yourself instead of doing what you actually want to do. And I'm pretty sure that's the goal of the social media applications nowadays, is to have you hooked on their apps so they can make money out of you, send you ads and so on. So for most people, they can't concentrate because it's a distraction thing. But if we look into focus, for example, as an online business owner, you need focus so you can scale your business, because you need to be consistent with the things such as, let's say, acquiring the knowledge, the skills, or building even the systems or hiring a quality team so you can scale your business to the next level. So focus is an essential skill. When I notice most people struggle with focus, it comes in three things. Either number one, it's a biological problem, as in when you sit on your desk, your brain just doesn't fire. You can't focus. So that could be you're unhealthy. So you might not be getting quality sleep, you might eating like crap, you might be not exercising, you might not be treating yourself properly, and just expect your brain to work 100%, 16 hours a day, like hustle culture. So after a certain point, you can't focus. So you need to recover, so that's a biological problem. And then number two, like focus, some people have the energy, but they don't have literally focus. Like they don't know where to allocate their time and energy into what's going to take them to the next level or progress their life and business. So that's a second version of focus where people really struggle with. And then third is sometimes you're doing the right thing. Sometimes you have the time and energy, we're just not doing it long enough. You're just not putting enough volume and reps. So people try it maybe for like a week or maybe 2 weeks. Maybe they like run ads for like 10 days and they say, oh, this doesn't work, and they stop it. So it's more about like putting in the volume and reps and focusing for long periods of time. That's what's going to really get you the results. And like you said in the beginning, when most people fail to concentrate and focus, is one of these three things: biological problem, or resource allocation problem, or they just don't do it long enough. And what's stopping them from doing that? Probably like their phone and like some mindset stuff as well. So it's a big topic, but usually that's what people struggle with.
What's your relationship like with social media?
Me, like, I'll be honest, like I used to be a dopamine junkie. I like to word it. So it's just like open up my phone first thing in the day, like scroll before I'd work. But now, like once you actually understand like business, even I think Sam Albans coined this really well. They said you generate money by like intense focus on putting that onto what generates income or money. So once you understand, okay, like the value of my time and attention depends on how I value it myself. If I spend it on social media, the value is zero. So once I had that mindset shift, I was like, I tried to minimize scrolling as much as possible. So I'd wake up, my phone's on airplane mode. I don't open up my phone. I don't open up Instagram. If I do, it's very quickly. It's just to see a message. Then I switch it off airplane mode immediately. Then I try to maintain a clean mind or a clear mind in the morning so I can put the deep work in. So social media, relationship with social media, I think it's a double-edged sword. If the goal is to use it, it's very powerful to use it because it can reach millions and millions of people. But if you don't create, you just consume, then the leverage is zero. Like you might learn some things here and there, but when are you going to really learn in-depth skills and knowledge that's going to transform your life by watching TikToks or Reels or YouTube Shorts? It's not going to do much. Maybe there's a few guys on there that give really good tips, but then you really need, if you really want to learn the skills, you need to dive in and focus. Either like purchase a course or go on YouTube and really learn, spend some more time learning the skill. Like just watching on TikTok or Instagram Reels is not going to do much. But you creating and you reaching other people, very high leverage. So you want to transition your relationship with social media from consumption to creation, because then now it's playing for you rather than playing against you. And not to mention that when you check social media, that's literally frying your brain with like short-term dopamine. You're training your brain for short-term gratification, and you're creating like endless open loops. That's going to make it really hard for you to focus when you sit at your desk, because your brain's going to be thinking about the things you saw on Instagram, and then you might even see something on Instagram that gets you angry, and you're like, I can't focus right now. So then, like, you literally wasted a whole day of focus that could be spent, on like making more money, but now you're like sitting there doing nothing because you scrolled your phone. So yeah, I think social media is very dangerous if you overconsume, but extremely powerful if you create on it and use it properly.
I think if not for business and the fact that most of my businesses are social media based or social media related, and social media is involved in personal brand and business, I think if not for that, then I dislike social media. I really hate this social media, just in general, like Twitter, Instagram, everything. YouTube, I'm fine with, because yeah, generally I can find more valuable content there, but usually there's just Instagram and Twitter are just, like, if someone gave me $10 billion and said, all right, you're not allowed, because if they give me $10 billion and I'm still allowed to work, I will work. I will just reinvest it into a business and continue. But if I'm not allowed to do anything business-wise, and not, like, just take that for life, no more business, no more work, nothing, I'm deleting all my social media. Everything gone. What I've found is I just keep getting sucked, because these things are designed so well. I just keep, like, I don't scroll. I never scroll. Like, the only post I ever see on social media is the first post that's there and visible when you just open the app. But my problem is that I just open the app too many times. At times where I'm not working, if my phone is in my pocket and I'm going to the mosque or going out to eat or somewhere, I just keep, when I'm holding my phone, I just press Instagram. And then when I open Instagram and I'm looking at the homepage, I'm like, what am I doing? And I just go out. But then it just happens again and again and again and again.
It's an impulse check. It's an impulse check at that point, because like your brain knows that this is what's going to get you a little bit dopamine. So it just reacts. It's an impulse check. But yeah, I mean, like, I guess what about like the Instagram, like TikTok or Twitter that you don't like, that makes you want to delete it off your phone?
Everything. Like, because if I think of, apart from the business side, so apart from posting stories, reels, those type of things, apart from those, the only thing that I do on Instagram is maybe networking and messaging people. So the networking part is important. That's valuable. The messaging people part, most of the people that I've already networked with, I already know. I have their phone numbers, so I can just text message them. So I don't need social media for that. The only need I have for social media is just the posting and things like that. So the thing I like about social media is that networking side, because that's useful. And of course the business growth side, and that helps. But in terms of what I dislike, bro, everything else.
Most people never reach that point. They're just like trapped. It's like they just go over the behavior over and over again, and they don't actually like think about what they're doing. So yeah, like I can't tell you like how many people say, I want to do a business, I want to get in shape, I want to do this. Or like, especially now, New Year's, they said, oh, new year, new me. They're still on their phone scrolling. Like, I still, like, you still like, you don't, like, when are you going to like treat yourself like you are the main character? Like they like follow these people on Instagram and they like all of their posts, and they don't like spend any of that energy on themselves. Just doesn't make sense, I never made sense to me.
Why do most people fail their New Year's resolutions?
No plan. In simple terms, no plan. It's just a dream. They're just, for lack of better words, they're just mentally masturbating on the idea of like getting a new car or buying a new house or getting in shape or making money. They're just dreaming. They're not like actually like, what's the plan? Okay, cool. You have a mission. You have a purpose. Cool. That's a good first step. You have some goals. Okay, so how does that look like on the calendar? What projects are you doing? What habits are going to get you there? What daily routines are going to make sure you're consistent with those actions that's going to get you to that goal? Are you the type of person right now who's capable of doing that? For example, like the cheesiest goal, everyone says I want to reach 10K per month. Okay, cool. Forget with 10K per month aside. Are you the type of person who's worthy of 10K per month? Okay. Do you have these skills? Do you have the character traits? Can you even focus for at least like an hour on your desk without like itching for your phone? You know, like those are the things that actually matter. And then after that, then we can start talking about business strategy. Because like, even if I give you the best business strategy, we give them the best sauce. You know, we're like, okay, you're going to do this. This is play 1, play 2, play 3, the game plan, full game plan. They're not going to do it. You know, they're just going to be like, oh, thank you. This is so valuable. And then they're just going to go back to scrolling their phone. So like, it doesn't really matter. Like there's, especially the internet, there's so much information. Like you could do anything. Like you could build anything. Like you just need the focus, the time and energy to do it. You know, like there's opportunities everywhere and there's free stuff online. There's YouTube, there's Google, there's even now ChatGPT. It doesn't get easier than this, and people are still like I get like business is hard, like it will take some time to get results, but it's possible. You just need to have the resilience and you need to be determined to make it happen and need to actually take control of your time, attention, energy, and then focus that onto what you want to build, which is what most people fail. They just set the goals and they're like, oh, it will happen someday. They think someday they'll magically make $1 million. Okay, what's the plan? Like step by step, and what are you going to do week by week? Like, okay, cool. Quarter 1, what are you going to do quarter 1? Quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. Okay, from quarter 1, month 1, what projects are you working on? Month 2, month 3, what projects are you working on? Okay. Then this week, what are you doing this week? Next week. Okay, then today, what are you going to do today that's going to make sure you reach these goals for this week, this month, and then this quarter? Okay, cool. Once you figure this out, then it's just like, you feel so confident. We're like, this will work. And you feel like less stressed. You're like, okay, I know exactly what I need to do. Then it becomes easier to say no to the phone.
Listening to a podcast a few days ago by Chris Williamson, and he was talking about people prefer trajectory to position. Progress gives more satisfaction than position. The guy who was second last year and is still second this year is not as happy as the guy who was 350 something and moved up to 102nd, because he has that massive upward vertical, whereas the other guy just stagnated. And so what he said with that concept is the slow growth goals concept, which is have small goals that are small progressions where you are constantly going upwards. You aim to constantly move up. It doesn't have to be a massive jump, but just there's constant progress and constant improvement. And I'm trying to think of that in comparison with the usual set crazy goals and you fail, but you've still achieved way more than everyone else. So I'm comparing it with those two. And so on one side, you have, with the slow growth goals or that strategy, you are satisfied, you're making progress, but you probably didn't make as much progress as this guy because he set these insanely high goals and underachieved, but he still achieved a lot. Or whereas this guy made progress, but he's probably disappointed because he didn't hit his goals. So I'm just comparing those on, maybe there isn't one that's better, but just looking at various pros and cons and when to use this one, when to use that one.
Yeah, I think you could do the best of both worlds. What I do with my clients is, if we set goals, basically, when you set the purpose of setting goals is to make sure your actions match that type of goal that you want to hit. The problem is if you set a small goal, now your actions are going to be at a lower level. So for example, if I say I want to hit, let's say 5K per month. Now I'm thinking in terms of 5K per month instead of like 100K per month. If I said 100K per month, now I'm thinking bigger leverage, and the amount of options for me to hit 100K is way less than between for 5K, right? To hit 5K, there's so many ways now, right? I could do community, I could do like so many different, I could sell low tickets, but when I do 100K now, it has me thinking, okay, like what product can I sell? Maybe possibly 10K for like to 10 people. Now you're thinking like, okay, what do I need to do? Now you're thinking higher leverage. So in terms of thinking wise, setting bigger goals help you better because it makes you filter out all the garbage or the junk that you don't really want. You don't want to hit 5K, you want to hit 100K. So might as well think in terms of 100K and then just brainstorm that. And you're not going to find a lot of options, but these options are going to be way better than what you had in terms of 5K or one. In terms of progress, you set the goal of 100K, but in progress, you track everything. You track everything from front end to back end. You track the traffic, the impressions you're getting. So you know that if you post a specific type of content that got a lot of views, that's good. That's progress. Double down on that. If you create a piece of content where people ask you to book a call with you or get on a call, good. That's progress. Double down on that. If you get people that visit your landing page, impressions, clicks, that's another improvement. So like you want to see like top down, front end to back end, and then track everything. And then from there, that's where you gamify things. You know, the system size where you gamify things. So now it always feels like you're winning because now you see like, okay, what is my bottleneck? Okay, maybe I'm not having enough impressions to my offer, or I'm not making enough offers to enough people. So now I know like I need to focus on that. That doesn't mean you failed. That just means you need to solve a problem of the system. So like it's two modes things. When you set goals, think big. When you look at systems, look at it small, granular. Okay, like what's going on, dude? What's wrong? Okay, why am I not getting people to buy this deal or to get this offer? It's something to do with the front end. Maybe there's no product market fit, so you might need to fix the messaging. Maybe you need to try a different channel. Maybe instead of like Instagram, you know, some people you now find for you, Twitter might be better for you to find your ideal, your ICP, maybe YouTube. So that's where you test things and see what works. The tough thing is that for business could be like, you know, sometimes you don't earn money. So that for some people might be a little bit tough. So that's where it becomes a lot of confusing because people say, oh, I don't want to set this big goal and then fail. You didn't fail. It's just that you haven't built the system that's going to generate that goal yet. And building that system will take some time. You know, like you don't just wake up, like you don't just do first try. You're like, oh, this system works so good. Or like it's immediately making 100K per month. Since when? I feel like who does that? I mean, like even Jeff Bezos like took years to build Amazon, and you expect to sit there and like wake up with something, oh, I'm hitting 100K per month, and like immediately. It's ridiculous. I mean, so it's like you need to you have the vision and you build a system step by step. You track your progress, you make sure you're finding it, and then that's what makes it fun. That's where business becomes fun, is when you have this mindset. Yeah, that's what I would say about to set goals and systems.
What KPIs and OKRs and metrics do you use to gamify things?
Yeah, the easiest one is impressions, total impressions. I run a coaching business, so for me, it's different from everyone else. For some people, if you run e-com, it's going to be like something completely different. I'm not that familiar with e-com, but for me, I run a coaching consulting business. So for me, it's, if we go top of the funnel, so top of the funnel, probably like impressions. And then after impressions, I want to convert that into followers. So followers, and then after followers, I want to see like email list, how many people are in my email list, and then YouTube subs, how many YouTube subs do I have? This is just like top of funnel. Then after that, I want to see like how many people are completing my email sequence. Okay, like how many people are clicking on the link to go see my VSL. Okay, then I want to optimize that because I want to make sure as much people are seeing my VSL. And then VSL completion. I don't track that right now, but that's something you could track. So VSL completion, how much are people watching your VSL? And then after they watch your VSL or they read through your landing page, how many people are booking your call with you? Okay. Then from there, like people booking your call, show up rate. And then show up rate and then like closing rate. Okay. That's just like top of mind, just so you have an idea of where your business is going. You don't need to see this every single day or every single week, but every quarter you want to have like a general idea, or every month, every quarter, just have like a general idea. Okay, what can I do this quarter that's going to make me go to the next level of business? And you look at this top. There's definitely something out there that you could improve.
I like the thing about routine because I feel in business, you get to a point where routine not only is what you just do, but it becomes what you desire. Like, you get this desire to just do the exact same thing every day. And I remember, I'm not sure if it's been a year now, but many months ago, I was speaking with someone and I told them, look, my life, because they'd always say, how are you? How's this? How's whatever? And I'll just say, the same. It's always the same. More clients, more this, nothing new, nothing exciting. And they said to me, like, if I lived one day in your life, you'll be crazy. And I said, yeah, like one day, 1 week, probably. But I mean, alhamdulillah. But after about a week, you realize that it's just the same thing again and again and again and again. And there's nothing wrong with that. And in fact, I like that. I prefer that. And with routines, with maybe someone who doesn't have a routine, or even someone like me that does, what are those things, or which one thing would you say needs to be there in that routine? One uncommon thing that most people don't have that needs to be there. So not something general like working out. That's
I'd say the highest leverage is having a shutdown routine, or having a time where you stop work, you de-stress and go to sleep. Because the consistent sleep times is what's going to align your circadian rhythm and have consistent energy so you can do it again the next day. Now, what I notice most like online business owners, they think that sleep is a waste of time. Not all, but the ones that do, they think that their body could work 16 hours straight, 100% capacity, no breakdowns whatsoever, and just work 16 hours, and then I'll sleep when I'm dead, or sleep when later. And what happens is that cool, you might get a day of like you get work done, but then the next day you're like recovering, or like cool, a week from now you're like sick, and then you can't do nothing for like 2-3 days. So uncommon routine people don't do is consistent sleep times, but it's pretty logical. Like, it's the benefits are there, but people just don't see. I don't know why it's in their heads. Maybe it's self-limiting belief. They feel like it's something not worth it. But it's very dangerous. If you don't get quality sleep, it literally wrecks your brain. Like, if you're sleep deprived, you give yourself transient ADHD. You have worse emotional control. Your brain goes crazy. Like, you get a lot more junk food. You're more likely to scroll your phone. So like, just like having that shutdown routine and going to sleep just stops you from doing so much stupid shit. Literally, like, it's like your safeguard. I sleep at this time, it automatically like stops me from being sick. If I just can do this consistently, although some people might worry, it's to stop me from scrolling my phone, or less likely to have me scroll my phone, less likely for me to ordering junk food, less likely for me to be distracted when I sit at my desk. It's just going to make sure I lock in the time and energy and focus over the next, let's say, however long you want to do, like stay focused. It will ensure that I'm focused for the next 6 months, 1 year, 2 years to build my business and actually put the time and energy. Because if you don't sleep, then like, how are you going to like have the consistent time and energy? Eventually you're going to burn out. You're going to need to recover. And like, you're not a machine.
One of my agencies does some TikTok clip accounts for like Thurston. And I remember there was a clip, I think this morning, that I was watching when I was posting it, because I like to just manually post it myself. And there was one where he was doing a podcast with Chris Williamson again. And Chris was talking about how sleep depression can actually cause, or sleep deprived, lack of sleep can cause depression. And he was discussing a story about how when he was in, whether it was university or secondary school, I can't remember, but he felt depressed and he had depression, and it came from a lack of sleep. It just makes me think of all the things on Money Twitter and all these business space with what you said, hustle culture. And hustle culture isn't sustainable. It isn't maintainable. Like, one thing that has really helped me with long-term and avoiding burnout is something that Sam Ovens talks about, and I think you also speak about it, of having one day of just rest, just distracted, fine, just no work. So I have it on Fridays where nothing work related. My phone's off from Thursday night to Saturday morning. Just switch my phone off, throw it somewhere, and that's it. Go the whole next day, no work, nothing, just time in my thoughts. And that has really helped me, because ever since I started doing that a few months ago, there hasn't been any instance of burnout. Whereas when I was following that hustle culture and just doing work, even though now that's what I do apart from Fridays, you don't get burnt out. And that just works very well. What's the strongest opinion on business that you have that most people would disagree with you on?
I think what I was saying, like hustle culture, that's the thing. I say you don't need to work 10-hour days, like overwhelmed, to burnt out to build a business. I think if you're more tactical with things, you could definitely reach a point where you could work on your business for around 4 to 6 hours of deep work. Because the body can only do like real intense focus work. There's research showing this, like real intense focus, me sitting on my desk, 0 distractions, actually intense concentration. The limit is around 4 hours to 4.5 hours. And there's research on this. They researched experts, violinists, experts, pianists, even athletes, like chess athletes and so on. Like 4 hours, 4.5 hours is about the limit of intense, deliberate focus into getting something done. So if you get 4 hours of intense focus consistently every day, then you're pretty much ahead of almost everyone else. You're like top 1% performer. Then after that, you could spend a little bit more time distracted. But I think most of these guys, they say they work 10-hour days because they don't steak, they don't train, they don't do any of these. They can't even get 4 hours of deliberate focus. So they probably get maybe 1 hour, and then like the rest of the other hours are just like scattered focus. So they feel like they're busy and productive, but they don't actually know what it's like to be productive because they don't have the mental like energy to, or focus to go intense. So they're just like brain fog and so on. So like, yeah, I guess if you don't take care of yourself, then what's the point? Right? That's my opinion. You need to take care of yourself.
Success lists are not to-do lists. What do you mean by that?
There we go. Success list over to-do list. So to-do list is just like, I don't like to-do list. I hate it. To-do list is just like, oh, I got it done. Like, how the hell do you know that thing on your to-do list is going to get you to success? Like you said, success lists are the things that are going to get me to success that are high leverage stuff. So if you have something on your success list, that could be like things that can move your business forward. So it's prioritized based on success. So let's say for me, it's like creating a YouTube video. I figured that's what's going to get me to success. Recording a YouTube video. So I'd get that done. And then I get all the things done on my success list. That's most likely can get me to success. To-do list, most people write to-do lists. Okay, grocery shop, haircut, gym, read book. Okay, cool. But like, where's the money? You know? Where's the things that's going to get you to the next level? Like, actually getting next level is building systems. So like YouTube, think of like leverage. I don't know if Sam Ovens has a really good video on this, on leverage. I did write a thread on it. But you want to think of like asymmetric results. If I do this one thing, is it asymmetric leverage, asymmetric results? If I do this one thing, and then like how many people will it reach? Or like how much time will it save me? Like how much like more energy will it give me? So for example, if I sleep consistently each night, the amount of result I get back is this much, because this amount of deliberate focus, 4 hours I can focus every day for the next year, because I lock in this one habit, is like this much. The amount of work you can get in 4 hours of intense focus for a year is ridiculous. And then let's say, for example, you post a YouTube video. One YouTube video continues, people get to see it, and that gets 1,000 views later on. So that's like high leverage. So you need to look at your list, to-do list, automate all the things that is not high leverage. Grocery shopping, what else? Like working out is still good, but we want to reduce that. You don't want to do it every day. You want to make sure you go like 4 times a week, which is what it is with my clients. 4 times a week, very efficient, builds a muscle, and you're not there for like 2 hours. You're not a fitness influencer. And then your whole life needs to be surrounded on like, how can I gain the most leverage as an online business owner, if that's your goal. If you don't care about leverage, you're comfortable, then yeah, you probably shouldn't be listening to this podcast then. You know? I'm sure you're listening because you want to become the best version of yourself and scale your business.
What productivity and business systems do you have in place for yourself?
Okay. I think the GOAT of productivity in business, no one compares to him, is Sam Ovens. Everyone copied from Sam Ovens. Even if you like actual like people that make money or like build systems, they got at least some elements from Sam Ovens. So productivity systems I use. I like to think that how Sam Ovens explained it, there are four steps to it. So first, there's yourself, like the amount of energy you have. Okay, so how much energy you have and time you have. Then next step is where you channel your time and energy into what do you channel that into. And then from there, then that's where you create output. Okay, so I'll give you an example. So let's say my energy, I eat good, I work out, I have high energy. I woke up today with a 10 out of 10 energy, right? So for all this 10 out of 10 energy, I use that to record a YouTube video, to do these things, to record a YouTube video, create content, help my clients, and that creates output. Either clients buy my program and that makes me money. So now I look at it as an equation. I'm like, okay, as long as I maintain my energy 10 out of 10 and I do these things, I create this output, I get this result. Then I create like a feedback loop. Okay, how can I make sure I maintain my energy? How can I make sure I maintain my focus on the things that generate me more money? And how can it be consistent with the output that I do every month or every week, every day? Then I use that as a feedback loop. I think that's what Sam Ovens uses. I think he has a video on YouTube. I think it's called Monk-like Discipline. So that's productivity. Productivity is output over time. And then the result. You want to make sure you spend time on the activities to get the highest output, the least amount of time, or asymmetric leverage. Like long-term wise, this can get me a lot of results. So that's what productivity is all about. It's eliminating the junk and doubling down on what's going to get you results.
One of Sam Alvin's lessons that I really liked was the one that I think you also illustrated it with, that one that looks like a sun. And so you have focused on everything, and instead of that, you have focused on one thing and then reduce the rest. So things that are draining your time, draining your energy, draining your focus, you limit that or eliminate completely if possible. And then you just spend more time and more energy, more focus on what matters. And that really helped, especially because I'm in university as well. So what has been, and I've always seen like university is just a distraction. It's taking up so much time from work. And what has helped me is how can I automate as much as possible from the school side so that I'm spending as little time and energy as possible. So classes, I have to go to classes because attendance and things like that. So, all right, I have to go to class. What else takes up my time and energy that's related to school? All right, how do I minimize that? So studies, assignments, projects, things like that. How do I reduce that amount of time and remove that? And that's really helped me. And so whenever someone asks me, like, how do you balance work and school? How do you do this much work while doing school as well? I'm just like, just limit the amount of time that you spend on things that aren't important and focus more time on things that are. And then you don't even have any balancing to do. It's just there in your calendar. You know, it's straightforward. The time is there. The time is available. I always say, anyone that complains to me, because I hate being asked about work-life balance or things like that. I just say, put every single thing that you do into your calendar and you'll see time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What do you think about work-life balance?
I think, okay, like, I know, like, earlier I said, like, you need to take care of yourself, right? But then the purpose of taking care of yourself is so you can go hard and work, right? But then, like, there's a point where people say work-life balance, and then, like, work-life balance, what does that mean? Like, to them, it means, like, not doing any work and just having, like, passive income. Now you're just delusional. I mean, like, when we mean, like, work-life balance, it means, like, okay, when I'm at work, I'm focused at work. And then when I'm doing life, I'm recovering, I'm de-stressing. So I can go harder at work. Now, most people say work-life balance, oh, I want to watch Netflix. I want to go, like, to the mall. I want to go, like, travel. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Just expect you're not going to get any results. That's it. You're not going to get any results. And I'm not saying, like, you should work. And then, okay, you kind of de-stress and then work. There's a season for that. And then there's a season for having fun and de-stress. But right now, if the priority is building up the business, then this is the lifestyle you need to have. You need to put in more work than usual, than most people, if you want abnormal results. We're talking here like making your online money, not working 9 to 5, then you need to take abnormal results, abnormal action to get abnormal results. If you take the normal route and you do what other people do, you know, they go out on the weekends, they on the evenings they watch Netflix, you know, they don't really spend time learning any skill, they're just like complacent with how life is, then you're not going nowhere in that scenario. So I think like work-life balance for an online business owner, work-life balance means working as hard as I can when I get the chance to. So those 4 hours or 4 to 5 hours of me at my computer is very pure focus, very intense focus. And then after that, I'm like a little bit more like de-stressed. You know, I have some time. You can do things. And especially if you follow this routine where like, what I recommend for my clients is they do like 3 90-minute sessions of focus, which is just about 4 hours of work. If you do that, then you'll find yourself with time. Like you'll actually have time to do other things that you want to do, because 4 hours of focus, that's a lot of work if you actually focus. And if you do it on the right things, you like one session could be a YouTube video. Another session could be like, I don't know, maybe you want to create improving your systems. And another session could be like content creation or like helping out the client with a strategy. And then you're done. Like that could be like work for a whole week. Like one YouTube video per week, that's a lot for some. You know, you could do more if you want for sure. But then like when you have the focus sessions, when you lock focus, that's when the time value of your time energy goes up. So it's a leverage. Then you unlock more time and energy. So it's kind of like a loop that keeps on giving.
What I found helpful for me is what Andy Frisella's power list. So it's like have 5 things that are significantly going to move you forward, move your business forward. And you just do those 5. Focus on those 5. Those are your deep work sessions. So I have like 5 deep work sessions each day. And then I have about 2 or 3 hours of unstructured work. So that's like random meetings, looking at KPI sheets for various businesses, looking at clients' results, client calls, things like that. And what that does is, ever since I started doing that, instead of just usual have a to-do list and then just put them into your calendar, I've been able to, it's also related to that asymmetrical leverage where I've been able to get more results and spend not as much time on that, because the work I do is more focused. It's on more important tasks. It's not just do this, and I have this big list of 20 things that I do. I just have 5. And those 5, if I do these 5 things today, they significantly move the business forward. And then I have another 5 tomorrow that I do that, and those also significantly move forward. And so, and that's also freed up a lot of time in terms of, I wouldn't say work-life balance, but just productive breaks. For someone who isn't an action taker, for someone who dreams, mental masturbates, and has all these plans, how do they build that discipline? How do they build that focus? And how do they actually move forward?
Yeah, you start with the basics. The basics is everything. Sleep on time, wake up on time. That's the number one thing on what I would do, because then that builds discipline, and that automatically gets you time and energy. Because instead of you sitting in bed wasting time, scrolling, you're like in bed on time, you wake up on time, you do your work session, you go to the gym, you do things like routine. So step number 1, routine. That's how you become an action taker. Routine. You want to, when you get good quality sleep, that also helps you like with time, energy. Also, if you're usually a person who's not an action taker is also depressed and has like neurochemicals are out of whack. So they need to fix that first. So you do that by taking care of yourself first. So you fix yourself first, your time, attention, energy, by getting the habits in, good food, good sleep, good exercise. And then that's where you want to start training your focus. So maybe an action taker, I don't know if you have a business or not, but if you have a business, then you like what you said, the power list of top 5 things. I do that as well. I do the top 5 things that you need to do to scale your business, and do that every single day. So yeah, I think the routine, the consistent sleep time, and then the things that maintain your energy, that helps you focus, you do those, and you have like a system, a way, or some sort of way to like filter out activities that are low leverage and high leverage, and then double down the high leverage activities. That's what I would do as an action taker. And that's going to give you the motivation to start taking action. And then there's other stuff that goes into it, like the nitty-gritty details. So like how to set up your day, how to do that. If you want that, then you work with me and I'll show you how. Just curious, what do you have on your power list of 5 things
For today?
Is it different every day, or is it the same?
It is different every day.
Oh, okay. So do you plan?
Yeah, I plan each day in advance. I plan day before, because usually after at night, after Maghrib, I that's it for my work day is finished. So that's where I start that winding down routine. And the only thing that maybe is related to work is just that planning the next day. So that's why I set up my calendar to-do list, not to-do list, power list. And I set my calendar based on that power list. So for today, I have episode 15 recording. I have an offer assessment to do. I have some client content to go through and adjust. Then I have some designs for another client that I have to work on. And those are the 5 things.
Perfect. Exactly. That's how you become an action taker. You plan your day the night before and you write down the priorities you need to get done and you actually get them done. And then after that, just like carving it out on your calendar. Making sure, okay, at this time I can get this done, this time, and making sure you stay consistent with your work blocks consistently over time.
Because I would say, if someone asks me, and people have asked me, how do you do all these things? I said, just do them. Like, you mentally masturbate and you think about, oh, I want to start this business. Like, just, all right, what are you actually doing now? You want to learn sales, and then you look at sales videos, you enter this coaching program, you do this. Have you done any sales? No. Have you, all right, you want to do appointment setting, for example. Have you sent any DMs? No. I'm learning this course, I'm learning this. I learned this really good strategy. Have you done it? No. And yeah. And so it's just, you become an action taker by taking action. And I understand that people are different, because I've seen that there was a study that said the people who usually become ultra successful usually have 3 things. They have this crazy big goal that they want to achieve. Then they have a crippling fear of failure, and not just normal failure, not the failure of 0. They have a failure of not hitting that goal. So let's say, for the sake of explanation, if that goal is, I want to retire my parents and retire them in a mansion or castle, their crippling fear of failure is not having anything and being broke. That's not what their crippling failure is. Their crippling failure is not being able to do that goal, not being able to retire their parents in a mansion. If they don't do that, their entire life is worthless to them. And so, and then the third thing they have is impulse control. So maybe if someone doesn't have that crippling failure, I might be able to understand, all right, he isn't pushed that much. Because if I look at myself, I also have some sort of that kind of crippling failure of, I have these goals that I want to achieve, and I have these things that I want to do for my family, for all these things. And I always feel to myself, like whenever something business-wise goes down, a client is lost or something just happens, financial-wise, and the likelihood of that goal happening just reduces by like 1% or 2%. It just burns inside and kills, because it's like, to me, if I'm not able to do that, then I feel like I've failed my mission.
I think that's for a lot of us why we start, taking risks, because we there's no way to get to this goal unless you take big action. So for us, it's like, we're motivated to go there. We're also motivated not to go back. And going back is like worse than ever. So we never want to go back. So we just want to keep on moving forward. So I think I could relate to that. I think a lot of people will relate to you. They have big goals and they want to achieve that, and they just can't imagine living in a life without that goal, because they want it that bad. And then you wanting it that bad, and you just hating where you were before or where you are now, just motivates you enough where you're willing to do whatever it takes to get to that goal. Yeah. And I think for most people that don't take action, they probably don't have that. because they're just complacent how things are. And if you're complacent, there's no reason to it, right? You have a mission, you have a vision, you have a purpose. And that's why I'm taking all this work. I'm doing this for a reason. And that satisfies you at the same time, but obviously when you struggle or you fail, it burns, because this is so important to you. So you continue moving forward. But for those people that don't have no mission, vision, and principle, their mission, vision, principles is ingrained into their brain from social media or with other people. Like, basically, you're just going to, for lack of better words, you're just going to be an NBC. So you're just following the mission, vision of what people do for you. So like for those people, I think they just haven't had the time to sit down with themselves and really like figure out what do they want and set, like, how do you want your life to be like, and actually believe that it's possible to happen. I think most of these people who aren't per se action takers, they've just been like, their soul has been sucked out to them. Like somewhere down the line, someone told them that's not possible. Business is too risky, or like you'll never be someone, like, so them, it might be like trauma or something. But yeah, I think for those people, they need the help the most in terms of like mindset.
I was discussing with a friend of mine some weeks ago about the importance of placement and positioning in relation to what you were saying of, if you want to achieve all these things, you have to position yourself for that. So start working out, start learning skills, developing these skill sets, network with the right people, build the right mindset, and just having that positioning, because you have started to become that type of person yourself. Eventually, of course, there has to be effort. I don't believe in that manifesting thing. But after doing that, eventually it just happens. So maybe you start going to the gym, you start building that mindset, and then you begin to see more opportunities that you didn't see before. And that way you see opportunities for a business that you didn't think of before. And now, because you've worked on skill set, because you've worked on all these things, you can actually go for that. So you saw the opportunity that you wouldn't be able to see before, and you have the skill set to actually take on that opportunity. So just that placement. So I think that would probably be my advice for whoever watching this and isn't really sure where to go. It would be position yourself.
I agree 100%, because the opportunities are going to come. You can't take opportunities now because you don't have the skills, right? There might be $1 million opportunity, you might not see it because you don't have the skills. So when the next opportunity comes, you want to make sure you're ready for that. So the best case scenario is you start building up your skills right now. So I guess it's positioning. That 100% makes sense. Like 3-4 years from now, there might be a really big opportunity for you.
Like even with opportunity, there's so many opportunities out there that at this point in time, let's just say someone watching this podcast, they may not be able to see because they just don't have the mindset, the positioning, and the experience. And eventually they'll see. I was saying on Instagram some time ago, I can't remember when, but there are so many business opportunities that are very scalable to 10K per month within a year that I can see around me. I can instantly list 3, 5, 6 because they're out there. I can see those opportunities. When I see an opportunity, like there's so many that just pop up and I see this one, I see this one, I see this one. And if there is someone else, I'm already doing something that probably is a bigger opportunity than all these other things, so I don't waste time doing them myself. But if there's someone else that's looking for these type of things, there are so many of them out there that they just have to position themselves in a way that they'll be able to see those opportunities. Because there's so many out there that even on Instagram, you'll see them. There's one that I can even give as an example. David Senra Founders Podcast. host, my favorite podcast. He is launching a new product soon, and he was talking about it on his podcast. And he was saying he has to prepare a landing page for his website, so it's not yet ready. He's still preparing the landing page for it. That's an opportunity. He's looking for a landing page. So what did I do? I said, I know how to do web design. I know web development. I don't have none of the agencies I own do web development. I'm interested in doing this purely for networking, purely because I like his podcast. I like him. And so what I did was I just prepared designs. Didn't take more than 30 minutes, an hour. Prepared designs, prepared the website, sent that to him, and now we exchange contact information, and I'm working with him. And that's it. Like, yeah. So like, even with things like networking, how do you network? You just provide value genuinely and see these opportunities when they come up, and they will happen. And they will be there. Another example I can give, Mike Thurston was on a recent podcast in December with Chris Williamson, and they posted the podcast recently. And Thurston was talking about how he really dislikes entering social media, because he was talking about how he gets stuck scrolling all the time. So, but because he's an influencer, he has a lot of tasks on social media that he has to do. So he's trying to find ways to outsource those social media related tasks as much as possible. That's another opportunity. So it's like, there's so many of them out there that if you just open your ears, open your eyes, and they're everywhere. But again, like, it comes down to positioning of, you have to be in a position where you can see these things, you can pick up on those things. Because probably the normal average podcast listener would just listen to that and just continue going. Whereas maybe because of the position that I'm in, I pick up on that and I notice that. And I see that and I see it as an opportunity.
And then you're more likely to take action because you know, okay, let's message this guy. And you have the skills ready for it, so you can even show proof that you've done it before. So even, I think the worst case scenario, if you're just starting, just post content on. Just build your brand. Like, post content, build some sort of authority. Build some skills, show what you're working on. Like, you get out, opportunities will come up. More opportunities will come up with you posting on like social media and then having people know your name than not. Someone's going to message you. Eventually, something's going to happen. So I think posting content, like, if you want a problem solved, like Mike Thurston did that. He said, I need someone to help me outsource social media. So now he's telling the world, I want this problem solved. So someone's going to reach out to him and say, hey, I can solve this problem for you. It's the same thing. You could do the same thing. Hey, I'm potentially looking to solve this problem. Would you like this problem solved? And someone might message you. You get a deal right there. So like, building things, it helps no matter what. Like, building a brand on putting out content, I think it's high leverage ROI activity. I do it like as an action taker, I do it 100%.
Rashid, it's been great having you on the podcast. I've really enjoyed this conversation. What can the people watching expect from you next?
I'm launching a community. It's going to be geared more for the up and coming entrepreneur, because I know a lot of people that start an online business, they can't really, afford a high ticket program with me or my coaching one-on-one. So I'm launching a community. It's going to be called the Peak Performers Club. Recording this on January 14th. So probably within February or March, we're going to do like the actual launch. So yeah, looking to take around 10 up and coming online business owners, transform their performance. Like most of these guys, they have big business goals, but their productivity level doesn't match that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take your productivity level where it's at here, and we're going to like match it based on your business goals. So we're going to try to get that so you can reach your business goals quicker than you were to do it yourself. So that's next. And yeah, if you want to follow me, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Going to be posting more content there. And Twitter, I'm mainly active on Twitter. Twitter /@fitswithrashid.